Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven JavaScript video. I'm recording this on October 4th, 2012, and picking up a couple hours after the last time we recorded, what we were working on is getting Testacular, the client-side test runner, working in our build. And I'm happy to say that it's totally working. We can run on all these different browsers with one command and run all of our server tests just like that. And I love it. Now we've just got some cleanup to do. We need to get linting working specifically for our browser, and we need to check that we are actually running all the browsers so that if, for example, we forget to run the IE8, if we're not running the IE8 browser, then we get an error saying that we're not testing against IE8, just to protect us from little things like that. And other little cleanup things as well. Let's start out by getting linting set up specifically for client side. So what I'd like to do here is I actually want to change lint everything to be lint client and lint server. So this here is lint server, and this of course will still be lint everything, and we will lint the server and lint the client, and this won't have anything to do there. So let's just make sure that still works. It doesn't yet because we don't have a lint client. Okay. Let's actually change this to be lint node, because it's going to be more than just the server. It's going to be all node files. But yeah, and let's actually do the same thing here. We'll test node rather than just test server, because again, this could include our node files, such as other than server. It could include build scripts or something like that. So there we go. Everything's still working. Good. So now we need to actually do the client linting, and that is going to look just like the server-side linting, except that we're going to include just the client source code. Let's go ahead and do that. That should work. Good. Now I want to factor out some of these things. For example, we have this here. I think I'm going to want to factor that out. Yeah, let's factor that out into a method or a function called, actually, what if, yeah, let's pull this out into a variable, and we'll call this browse or client files. And then factor all this out into a method a function called client files. There, that cleaned things up a little bit. And then we can inline this. Yes. And we can inline that. And let's pull lint out and put it up here. And same here. Okay. So that passed. So let's, wow, that's sure clean. Yeah, I like that. So now it needs to be client lint, browser lint options, and not node lint options. So let's go ahead and make that. We've already got a node lint options. So we can start out by copying this, changing this to browser lint options. That should still work. It does. Except that now we want our environment, rather than being node, as it is now, we really want it to be browser. So pretty straightforward. Let's just change that to be browser. That should still work. It does. Now let's factor out our global lint options. I guess the best way to do that, we actually can't factor it out just like it is. We need to make this into a variable. So we'll call that options. Then we need to pull this out, call it options.browser, make that true. That should all still work. And now we can factor this out into a method called global lint options. And then we can do the same thing with this one. And there's probably a way to make this a little more concise, but this is readable enough, so we'll just do the exact same thing for node lint options. Except now we need to get rid of this. Okay, that's all good. And does that mean we're done? Are we now linting the client files? I think we are. Let's go ahead and pull this out as node files, just like we pulled out client files. So pull this out as node files, move it up here, factor it into a method called node files, inline this, inline this, inline that. That should still work. And then we can put these down here. Okay, still good. And now, see, node files really needs to exclude the client files. I think that will do it. So right now when we lint, we're probably linting twice. Yeah, we're linting client test twice because we didn't exclude that. But now we are not linting it twice. So we're good there. And now in our tests, we should be able to say, rather than doing all that, we should be able to just say node files, like that. Except it didn't work. Okay, I'm back. It was a really dumb, straightforward problem. Node files, of course, is all the node files, and test files is just the node test files. And so I was trying to run the test against all the node files, and of course that wasn't working. So now it does work. And I could improve this further, but I don't really want to take the time on it. So, and I think this is definitely improved. So let's call this good. We've got test client looking better, test server code looking better. Rename this to node unit and put it up here with lint. Yeah. This is looking pretty good. Okay. Now, so we've got our client-side linting done. Now we need to check to make sure we're testing against all supported browsers. That shouldn't be too hard because when we run our client test code, we get a callback with the output of that run. What we can do is we can check to see that our supported browsers are actually in there. So let's say that we call assert that browser is tested, and let's make sure that IE8 gets in there. And we can pass in the output. And we can write a little function called assert browser is tested, browser name, output, and if that doesn't happen, then we can say fail browser name was not tested. Be sure to capture. There, see? So just writing that code is what's next. That's what we're going to do next time. We're going to write the rest of that code to make sure we're testing against all supported browsers, and then we'll get into this last little cleanup. Hopefully we'll be able to finish that up in the next episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will catch you next time.